The past 2 weeks, again, those who are jumping in tonight, parachuting in, the past 2 weeks, let me just explain what we've been doing, because I have to get me up to scratch. We're going to cover some really important fundamental things tonight. We discussed, on the outset, we went into the idea of the inner world, the inner structure. You know, we only see like a tiny percentage of what's going on at any time in our lives. You know, we only really understand a tiny percentage of what's going on in our inner world. And we started discussing the idea of hashkata, of calming down, the idea of getting quiet, and the idea of calming ourselves in order to find that true inner essence, that true inner self. And we did an exercise the past 2 weeks. We're going to do it again tonight. I'm just warning you again. We do the exercise again tonight because it's so fundamental and so exciting and so helpful. We did an exercise where we calm ourselves down completely and we begin to notice what's going on inside. You see, we spoke last week about, you know, the distractions, the disconnect with your family, with your friends, with other people. Lots of disconnects going on in our lives. And we ask ourselves why that is. And I think partly, fundamentally, it's because we don't know ourselves. We hardly ever get a chance to recognize ourselves. We hardly ever get a chance to actually be at home with ourselves. Hands up here, anyone who can tell me that they solidly can go in a day, not a weekend, a day with 1 hour just purely for themselves, without a phone next to them. Anybody? Very good. Okay, there's one, not bad.
TV?
No, Steve, not a TV. Sometimes I really despair. I really do. We'll get there eventually. Will you just be a bit quiet? That's fine, thanks. Yeah, so Steve, no, without a TV, darling. Okay, just not a TV. Okay, no TVs, no phones, just being present, quiet with yourself. Anybody?
No reading either.
No reading, just being quiet, present with yourself. Very good, okay, we've got a few people in the room. Okay, very good. No stimulus. Just being quiet and present. Has that ever happened in your life? By the way, I think it's fair to say for many people, for most people, actually, it's the case. Because the minute you wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off. It's so funny, I decided the other day, because getting up in the morning, you know, I'm working on it. Don't judge me. Don't judge. I'm working on it. Getting up in the morning, it's not easy. So I decided to go one of those motivational things, you know, motivational talks. You know what I'm talking about? Those guys that scream at you, that kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Those things like, you were born to do this. You were born to get out of bed. You were born to make it. Don't swear. I'm coming after you. They're coming after you. If you're not coming after you, someone else is coming after you because everybody's going after that. You know those kind of people. Those personal trainer things. But they have a thing on yeah, not an app. No, there's a Nike advert from many years ago called "Welcome to the Grind." You know what those are? Yeah. Welcome to the grind. You know, it's 5 a.m. Your alarm goes off. You're going to hit snooze. You're going to do that your whole life, and you're going to be a loser. That kind of thing, right? So I try to find that welcome to the grind, but I can't find it anywhere, which is really disappointing. So it's on YouTube. You can get the welcome to the grind, right? But then I was like, I can't get it. So I'll try something else. There's a picture of like a half man, half lion. So I put it on, and it's like I didn't tell Michelle my wife what I was doing. So literally, it's 6:30 in the morning. It's something like, "You got to get out of bed. Who are you? Well, you're a nothing. You're a loser. Stay in bed. You're a loser." My wife's like, "What the heck is going on? What have you done?" Now, the interesting thing is, and I want to put this. Anybody here ever listen to those things? I've been working out recently, doing a lot of working out, and I decided to listen to one of these motivational things as you work out. You know, it's very good. This one I found. It's got like all quotes like Rocky. You know, like nobody gonna put you down but you, yourself. It's you. You're in charge of yourself. Like that kind of stuff. Yeah. So one it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, it's brilliant. It goes like, "They told me I'll never do it. They told me I cannot make it. If I listen to them, I'd be a nothing. Don't listen to anybody. Just be yourself." This kind of I'm working out. Oh. Anyway, yeah. So it's been happening recently. But I don't know if anyone else has ever listened to these things before. But here's my question, right? I find it so interesting. All these people that scream and shout and rant and rave at you, right? You can do it, you can do all that. But I find maybe in the short term it might help a little bit. You know, you need to cross the line and get there. But I found that in terms of making real fundamental changes to our life, it doesn't really help. People screaming, shouting, taking their phones out and texting during class, that kind of stuff, even if they know that they might get their phone confiscated. They are people that still do that. So why is it that the more we shout and we scream and we rant and rave, someone's shouting and screaming, ranting and raving at you, Doesn't mean you make a solid, it doesn't make a real change in our lives. Doesn't really make a change. It doesn't make a change. So what we're trying to do in these classes, we're up to class number 3. And by the end, please God, after class number 6, we're going to be doing this together. So we're learning how to take our awareness of self and lift it out of what's called the nefesh. And we're going to talk about this tonight. We're going to talk about this tonight, about how lifting your awareness out of what nefesh is and moving forward. You see, what happens is, okay, from the moment we wake up in the morning, okay, you are waking up in the morning and you're having essentially your thought patterns kicking in from the minute you wake up. Okay, and your thought patterns kick in and they're telling you a message about yourself, about who you are. And that's based on memories, it's based on emotions, it's based on feelings, it's based on physical sensations, it's based on sight, on sound, and on taste, all these things. You're telling yourself a narrative. These narratives are basically coming into us. And the more we tell ourselves these narratives, they become, I think I coined this phrase today, calcified within us. They become who we are, they become our personality. They say, a habit is just something you do many times over and over again, becomes a habit, right? You do one thing and you keep doing it, it becomes a habit. So if you think a certain way over a certain amount of time, that thinking, that your body, so to speak, becomes in charge. It tells you who you are. And what we're trying to do ourselves is to lift ourselves up out of that place of nefesh into a higher realm. Now to do that, we're going to jump into nefesh today. We have to do a little meditation first. So we're going to start with a meditation. I find we do it at the end of the day. People are a bit too tired. We're going to start with meditation. Now, those who've been here the last 2 weeks will be familiar with what we're going to do right now. It's not going to be too weird. Like we trained you, you're going to be experts at it. But it's so fundamental. Because if I would ask you all right now, right, ready for me? I want you to close your eyes right now. I want you to feel intensely spiritual. Go. You've got 10 seconds to feel intensely spiritual. Feel really spiritual right now. Feel like on a high, spiritual high. Go. Okay, let's go. Anyone manage to feel intensely spiritual? Did you manage? No, I'm not asking for a dictionary terms. Did you manage to feel intensely spiritual? No, it's impossible. Okay, because most of the time, our awareness, our das, is in a place called nefesh, which is fleeting thoughts, emotions, feelings. So we have to learn. We have to learn what's going on. So if I was to draw it for you, if I take a piece of paper, it's like this. Right? I couldn't get myself. Jake Safa was meant to help me with this, but I'm checking. Not yet. If you can imagine a cog, right? So if this would be like a sort of a cog, yeah. It's a really bad cog here, but it's a cog, right? Okay. So the cog is here, and this is our body. And say body, I mean just also the physical thoughts, emotions, feelings. This cog is moving constantly. Okay, it's how we think, it's how we feel, it's how we emote, it's constantly feeling, moving, and it's moving the chain. And that chain is here, that chain is here, and that chain is basically that feeling of I guess, our self-worth, our awareness, our self-awareness. Right, I should put self-awareness here. I'm writing to the side, please forgive me. Self-awareness, okay? It's moving our self-awareness constantly. That chain is going round and round and round. And our self-awareness is spinning because we can never really get a sense of feeling at home, feeling calm. So what we're going to be doing in these classes is, if you would imagine, how when you drive a car, you have a clutch. You put down the clutch, it detaches the chain from the wheel. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing now. We're detaching the chain from the wheel. We're taking the chain away from fleeting thoughts and emotions, and we're putting it into a place with a much higher realm. So everyone together, make some space. We're going to do this together. Again, those who haven't been here the past couple of weeks, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a whole bunch of you. Move out, separate out, separate out. Okay, not too far away. Sorry. Not too far away. Okay, fine. Close your eyes. Okay. No, just let him do what he wants. Let him do what he wants, it's fine. Okay, here we go. So sitting with your eyes closed. Sitting with your eyes closed, your hands can be on your lap, back straight. Make sure that you're in a comfortable position, not holding anything in your hands, not touching anything. No limbs crossed, Just you'll feel comfortable, nothing's slipping off you, nothing's about to fall on the floor. Just feel really present. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to have some fun now. This is great, by the way. I had a few people text me last week after meditation. In fact, a number of people texted me saying how much they appreciated the meditation. They got a lot out of it. So someone just now asked me a question. They said, Rabbi, like, why do we meditate? What's the purpose of meditation? Is it just to like spaced out and just like relax? So I said, you will see. If you would try it, you'll see just how far you can go in meditation. And the reason we do it will become clear in a few moments' time. So keep your eyes closed. Take a big deep breath into your nose. Fill your lungs with air. Hold and then just breathe out again. Big deep breath in to your nose. Hold and then breathe out again. Perfect. Just feeling present, feeling here. All of us together. There's nowhere to run to. There's nowhere to go to. We are exactly where we need to be. Feel your feet on the floor, like I said before. Feel your body on the chair. Just feel calm, present. As you breathe in through your nose, notice how the air is cold as you breathe in. As you breathe out again, notice how the air is warm. Breathing in through your nose, the air is cold. Notice it. As you breathe out, notice the colder air. And just relax the body, making sure you're breathing diaphragmatically. That means when you breathe into your nose, you're bypassing your lungs and just making your tummy expand like a big balloon. And as you breathe out, just gently pushing against your stomach muscles, pushing the air out from your tummy. So almost bypassing the lungs. So big deep breath into your nose. Fill your tummy like a big balloon, hold, and then breathe out. Once again, breathing in through your nose. Filling your tummy with air, and then breathing out. You're already feeling more relaxed. Starting to feel a bit tingly. You don't have to ingest anything. You don't have to drink anything. You just have to breathe properly and be relaxed. That's all it is. It's quite simple. Breathing in through your nose. Starting with your big toe of your right foot. Touch it with your mind. Send it to sleep. All the toes of your right foot. Notice your inner step, your outer side of your foot, your heel, your ankle of your right foot. Just send them to sleep. Your shin, your calf, your knee. Notice, touch it with your mind, send it to sleep. Your thigh, top part of your thigh. Touch it with your mind and send it to sleep. Your left big toe, all the toes of your left foot. Inner step, the outside of the foot, the ankle, the heel, the calf, the shin. Touch it with your mind, send it to sleep. Your knee, your shin, your knee, your thigh. Now both your legs are warm, heavy, relaxed. In your mind, say 3 times, my legs are warm and heavy and relaxed. My legs are warm, heavy and relaxed. My legs are warm, heavy and relaxed. Your right hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, bicep, tricep to your shoulder. Your left hand, left forearm, elbow, bicep, tricep, shoulder. Your whole 2 arms now feel warm, heavy and relaxed. Your tummy, just release all the tension, all the stress in your tummy. Going up to your chest, to your neck, your back, moving up your back, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way up. Right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade to your neck. Neck feels warm, heavy, relaxed, beautiful. Now again in your mind, say 3 times. Say my body feels warm, heavy, relaxed. My body feels warm and heavy. My body is warm and heavy. Your right ear, right cheekbone, right jawbone. Your left ear, your left cheek, your left cheekbone, your left jaw, your left jawbone. Chin, mouth, your teeth, your tongue, your nose. Forehead, your eyes, moving over your forehead to the top of your head. So now your whole body feels tingling, warm and heavy. Just letting go. Okay, I hope you're all still with me. If you're with me, just nod your heads. Nod your heads, perfect. This is where we get to the interesting part. Now, for those of you here previous weeks, you'll be familiar. Those who weren't, just go with it. It's an experience. We're trying something new. I want you to be aware right now of what you're physically feeling. What are you physically feeling right now? What are you physically feeling? Feeling your feet, against the floor. Maybe you're feeling your foot against your sock. Maybe you're feeling your clothing. You're feeling warm. You're feeling cold. What are you feeling right now in a physical way? You're a bit achy. Are you feeling actually quite good? You're feeling your body's actually feeling very elated. You're feeling fit and healthy. Are you feeling a little bit unhealthy? Just what are you physically feeling right now? Be aware of it. Okay, next, we're going to upper level. We're going to have levushim. Levushim are garments. We're going to go to another layer of garments. We're going to take one garment off. That's the garment of our physical feeling. We're going to go one layer to our emotions. A little harder to be aware of. What are you aware of right now in your emotional world? What are you emotionally feeling right now? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling scared? Anxious? Are you feeling elated? Excited? You feel like you're walking on air? Do you feel that you're unsure? Where are you emotionally? Try and be honest with yourself. You don't have to share this with anybody, but where are you in your emotions? Where are you emotionally? Just be honest with yourself. Feel your emotions. And now one layer in, last layer in for the moment. We're going to take that layer of emotions away. Now the hardest layer, let's go. Where are your thoughts? What are your thoughts right now? Now those who did this in previous weeks, you'll be aware of what's going on. This is strange. You mean I'm actually being aware of my thoughts? That's odd. Being aware of my thoughts? So your thoughts are in a flurry. They're just flying around. So if it helps, imagine that you're sitting on a couch, and on that couch you're watching all your thoughts coming onto a screen in front of you. Just be aware of those thoughts. Just notice them. Notice what those thoughts are. No judgment. Don't judge them. Don't go anywhere with them. Just notice what the thoughts are. And then as those thoughts come into your mind, just watch them and they'll gradually move away. Another thought will come in. Just notice your thoughts. Thought comes into your mind, just play it onto the screen and be aware of that thought. Just be aware of that thought. You might find something very interesting is going on right now. Like, there's a you watching your thoughts. Well, what is that you? Who is that you? Who is that I that's watching the thoughts? Take a big deep breath into your nose. Some of a different sensation right now, something different. Big deep breath in. Feel that relaxation, sense of coming home, sense of being at one. One last big deep breath into your nose. And then come down. Beautiful. Excellent. That was fun. When you're ready, just tap yourselves in your arms. Tap yourself on your legs. Rub your hands together. Cover your eyes with your hands. Big deep breath in. And open your eyes. Beautiful, back in the room. Okay. So, we just had a very exciting, interesting experience. Anybody here want to share if that was something interesting that happened for them just now? Something which is, for those maybe who did this on a previous week, maybe it was a deeper level, and for those who did it the first time, something that was interesting, something new, something that came up that they never experienced before. Anyone want to share with us?
When you said, what are your thoughts? Like, how the thoughts are just in the moment.
Beautiful. Amazing. So that's in itself an amazing sign that your whole thinking process was very calm. There was nothing taking you. So when I said sit down and watch the screen, there just nothing came on the screen, or just there was nothing, even anything. You were just completely in your own little world. Okay. You felt very calm. Interesting. Anybody else want to talk about something that's interesting? I mean, I found that when I first started doing this, I remember it was around 10 years ago, maybe a bit more. I used to go and do this in the forest in Jerusalem. I used to go out, I was studying in the yeshiva, and I used to go out in my lunch times. Instead of having my cheese sandwich with the lads, I'd head out into the forest, and I would do this exercise. And at the end, I would get a certain feeling of elation that comes through when you start realizing there's this there's something going on. There's an awareness which is beyond thought, it's beyond emotion, it's beyond feeling. And we don't ever feel that. You never get a sense of that. No one taught me that in school. No one taught me that I learned home ec. I learned how to make apple crumble. I've got my scar here from that. But, I learned how to do Pythagoras' theorem, and I forgot that as well. But no one ever taught me that there's something called the true you, the true I, which is beyond thoughts and emotions. Anyone else want to talk about that, how that was for them? Anybody? Yeah, please, Emily. Emily.
So I find it quite interesting because when you obviously focus on your body, you notice like how you're actually physically feeling, and like you can go the whole day without realizing you're in pain until you focus on it, think of nothing else except that body part, and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm actually in pain, like it really hurts.
Beautiful.
And like right now, I've had a very busy day, I'm exhausted, but I almost felt like I fell asleep. But I was to the point of relaxing, like, but I almost lost what you were saying at one point. I had to bring myself back. But I realised how heavy my body was because I've had such a long day.
Yeah.
And it's drained on my body.
Yeah.
A nice feeling almost.
Very good. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Emily. It's the idea of just like being aware. It's the idea of awareness. How often do we focus our awareness on ourselves? We just don't do that very often. Anyone else want to just comment back with, how it was for them? Anybody? No? Aloof?
I found it harder to think about my emotions because you said it's...
To lay it in. I'm not saying think about, I'm saying it's not hard to think about your thoughts. It's just more about being aware of your thoughts as something which isn't part of you. Like I can know that my emotions maybe, I know my actions or my speech isn't me, right? So, I could say something and like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. That's what politicians spend their lives doing, isn't it really? I didn't really mean to say it. I don't really mean to do that, Who's the latest one? Tyson Fury, right? All the things he said. I'm getting all political now, right? He was saying all these terrible things. Now it's like, I didn't really mean to say it. So everyone's like, oh, you poor guy. So we control our speech. One level in is to control our emotions. That's hard to control your emotions. Someone upsets you to be able to control, but it's even hard to control your thought. Anyone here can control your thought? Can anyone here can switch off your thoughts and on? Right? Very difficult. And that's why we're going to get to this in a second. That's why we often think our thoughts are hardwired into our system. That I am what I think what I am. So therefore, how can I but react in a certain way or be in a mood for a week or a month or be depressed for a couple of years because the I is so hardwired into my psyche. Guys, take these sheets. Have you ever got the sheets from last week? Any good people, any SWATs got their sheets from last week? That's a joke for you. If not, let's go. Fine. So we're going to go. I've got like 20 minutes now. I want to teach you something really, really deep. Okay. You want a coffee? You want to run outside and Coke? Okay. Turn to page 2. Turn to page 2. Guys, without distraction, I feel like it's primary school class here. Okay, Steve, page 2. That's why I did it. We didn't finish last week's class. Okay, Chevra. Shh. Would anybody here anyone here take offense if I call you the Heilige Chevra? Is that right? Heilige Chevra? It means the holy friendship circle. Anyone take offense to that? No. Okay, shh. Turn to page 2. Guys, Jay, throw around it. So we see, I don't know, we're going to see that every single, our inner world, okay? So now we're going deep. We're going to start going on a map. The way our inner psyche, our inner selves, how it works. So here's the story, guys. This is you. Okay, we're gonna get one of those incredible. Have a quantum microscope. They have go into right. Jay is our physicist after all. So the quantum microscope goes in. Okay, we're gonna do this on a soul level. Now you have to bear with me for a second because here's the news. Okay, any scientists in the house? Get out. No. I love scientists. So scientists will know. Okay, that sometimes when we start talking about things like the soul, it's a bit strange because there is no Geiger counter that I can measure the soul. Like, I can't like, dee, 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 dee. Like, I can't do that with the soul, right? There's no Geiger counter for the soul. There's no measuring cylinder. There's no, displacement theory that you can find the soul. I can't put someone in a bath and then put the soul in and then the volume will... There is something to that. There is something very interesting about that, weighing the body when they're alive and when they're dead. The body's, the body's heavier because the soul gives you the lift in it gives you a sense of air, gives you a sense of... Very interesting, Steve. Points for that, obviously. Your chance to win a holiday for 3 to West Indies. Abby, you looking at confused, but have you heard that before? They said that they say that a body, when the body, there's no more, when someone passes on, after 120 years, when they weigh the body, from before and after, the body's heavier, because the soul gives you that life force, which lifts you. Anyway, thank you for that. So the soul, we're talking about, not about something here which can be seen with a microscope. Is everyone okay with that? Can we go beyond that? That's cool, fine. So in that world of soul, we would have what's called 3 levels. There's the neshama, there's the ruach, and there's the nefesh. There's the 3 parts to your soul. Take a look here. The neshama, okay? The neshama is the highest part of your soul. It's the highest part of your soul. So we've got, remind me your name, sit next to Emily. So what's your name?
Natalie.
Natalie, would you read for us just in English what it says under neshama? It says the soul.
The soul are eternally divine, pure aspect, the battery pack, the energizers are right, and the refresh, the godly part of ourselves.
Right, okay, so the neshama, this is our, so to speak, our battery pack of divine power. It's housed in the mind. I asked you last week, the end of last week, we had an exercise, those who missed it, I'm sorry. I asked you guys to draw a soul. We had these French people drawing flames. We had Steve, it was very, very interesting. Whoever came up with it, everyone drew their soul. Abby, did you draw a soul? Let's see Abby's soul here. There's beautiful, like a snow angel, beautiful. We had a whole different, Steve, yes, Steve's angel as well here. Okay, so I asked people to draw the soul, but if, take home. Can I put that in my fridge, Steve? It's like a Wicca, sort of like a Druid thing, the Druids.
Was it Halloween?
Okay, so it's very
angelic.
So
A little bit of KKK.
that's something we're starting to talk about, Steve. Late, not here, not in front of everyone, but we can talk about that. So when I even ask you to conceptually to draw the soul in your mind, so people want to talk about the soul is like your aura. Okay. By the way, the word aura. Have you heard of the aura before? Where's the word aura come from? Let's ask Sivan. She's from Israel. Sivan, where's the aura come from? Or. Very good. Excellent. Or means light. Very good. An aura is your light. Yeah, that number to tell your friend down the pub. So, the neshama. Okay, so the place of the ultimate part of your battery pack of your soul, of your connection to Hashem, is in your mind. That's like it's your heart. It's in your mind. That's the human soul essentially is our the incredible intellect that we have, which sets us apart from all other creations. Okay, it's the godly part of ourselves. It energizes every other part of ourselves as well. This is the neshama. Okay, the neshama level. Next we have ruach. Now, if anyone's ever here been to like a wedding or a mitzvah, they say, "Oh, it was great ruach." Ruach, that band, a great ruach. Most people don't know what it means. Okay, ruach means that's the spirit. There's a great scene from Fawlty Towers. Anyone here Fawlty Towers? Yeah. Fawlty Towers, everyone's probably seen it. Yeah, right. Thank you, James. Thank you, mate. Don't need any of that. Thank you. There's an Irish builder. The Irish builder, when Sybil's having a go at him, he goes, "I like a woman with spirit." With spirit. Okay, so your spirit. Hey, so ruach. But ruach in Hebrew, if you say yeshamon ruach hayon, so they're saying there's a lot of wind, right? It's a windy day. Okay, in Israel just now, Sukkot was very windy. The sukkahs got blown away. It was crazy. Yeah, look it up. Okay, so. What did he say? What?
Good year ahead.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Sukkah in the wind. So ruach is wind, is force. Okay, so the ruach is the wind, and so we see here ruach is the connecting point of neshama and nefesh. Okay, it's essentially the seat of right. This is the connecting point of ruach and nefesh. It's the moving point between the two of them, and then finally we have nefesh. Okay, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to read nefesh. Anybody here want to read nefesh? Yes, Jake Safa. Thank you, Arsh. Thank you for volunteering, Jake. Go, Jake. Okay, so here we go. This is, if I were to draw a place where we spend most of our time, okay, from the spiritual, physical level, the place where we are here is here. This is where we spend most of our time, in Nefesh. Okay, this is the part of the soul, like we said here. This is the part of the soul which is the root of human physical experience, physical animalistic part of the self, the physical sensations, fleeting thoughts, emotions, and experience through the Nefesh. Nefesh is the interface, essentially. It's the interface between the soul and the body. So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you the guf is the kli, the guf is the vessel which contains this. The place where they kind of really meet, the entry point, the border control, so to speak, between the soul world and the body world is the Nefesh. This is where the border control is. This is where the backstop is, right? So, for example, there's something called the glass blower analogy, which some of you may be aware of. The glass blower analogy is that we say that Hashem blew the soul into first mankind. He blew the soul. So this is brought down in the works of Kabbalah, especially the works of the Chabad, early Chabad, the Baal HaTanya. The glass blower analogy is that you have the pipe, right? The glass blower. Anyone here ever seen glass being blown before? Yeah. Right, Steve, right? Yeah. Dennis, right? Okay, so you have the person blowing in. Just imagine that someone blowing in. Okay, in. So the force of air is coming from the glass blower. Here he is. Okay, he's blowing the force, it's going in, and then the glass gets formed on the other end, okay? So the air comes in, okay, and it's formed, the glass gets formed. So the way it describes is the following. The force, the movement of the air is the ruach, that's the force, the wind, so to speak, is going forward. The neshama is in the mind, so to speak, of our Creator, and the place where the soul rests and the body, i.e. the glass begins, that's the nefesh. Okay, so can you imagine where the soul finishes, the soul comes to, and that's where it rests. It causes the shape when you blow, right? The more you blow, the bigger the glass will be. Okay, so when you stop the glass, the end of the soul is where the glass begins, okay? So here we go. So taking it back. We spend most of our time here in this world of Nefesh. Nefesh is the place where we have our thoughts, our physical sensations, and our feelings. By the way, very interesting. I said I'd tell you about this last week, so I'll tell you now. Very, very interesting. When we talk about dreams, I think I mentioned this last week. The Nefesh is that part of you, right, which is it's the closest part to your body. It's the border control with your body, so to speak. It's where the body and the soul meet. It's over here. So because of that, at night when you go to sleep, this part of your soul goes. This part of your soul goes up to so I say goes up, doesn't have to go anywhere, but it's in the soul world. It returns to the soul world, but this part, your nefesh, stays, doesn't go. Which means, very interesting, when you have a dream, what's happening most of the time with the dream is that these parts of your soul are in the soul world, and they are communicating backwards and forwards with your nefesh. Okay, and they're telling your nefesh, and your nefesh is what's giving you your soul, your dream. So here's the very interesting interface, because oftentimes when you dream, your dream is affected by what you saw during the day, what you heard during the day, even what you ate during the day. There's certain types of foods, they say that, certain types of foods can bring about nightmares. When you're a kid, you probably heard this, like cheese, they say, or milk, or whatever it's going to be. Certain things bring about nightmares, or good dreams or bad dreams, different things. So even what you saw, what you heard, what you experienced during the day, that's in your nefesh, that's with you, that stays with you. And at the same time, your neshama and ruach are in a place where there's no time, there's no future, there's no past. That's why we can dream about the future. That's why we can dream about the past. Everybody had deja vu before? Just had it just now, but deja vu, what does deja vu mean? Right, deja vu is, everyone know what deja vu is? Deja vu, right? It's like deja vu all over, it's like deja vu all over again. Right, famous line from Yogi Berra. It's like deja vu all over again. So deja vu is because you're in the soul world, there's no past, present, or future. So you can actually dream and see things in the future, although every dream has got elements that are completely false and rubbish and nonsense. So don't get too worried about dreams. Everyone wants to talk about dreams another time. We can focus just on dreams. But it's very interesting. So what you saw, oftentimes, by the way, what you watch or you see or you hear or you speak about before you go to bed will have that effect on the dream. Because the nefesh is down here, it's sending up its communication of what has just been experienced on a sort of a bodily way up to the higher worlds, and it's coming down from the higher worlds as something much more ethereal, and that meets in your dream. So I just want to share that with you. But now let's get into the interesting stuff. Okay, here. So what's happening is we spend most of our time in this area of nefesh, fleeting thoughts, physical sensations, emotions and feelings. Okay, so fleeting thoughts, things like, oh my gosh, like where to put my keys, which I've got to get back to Brian. I always say Brian, sorry, Adam. My kids are always about Brian the whole time. Brian is Adam's dad. I always say Brian. You know, everyone has a name like, you know, someone, Fred or Harry. Fred Bloggs, Harry, Jane, right? Dave, Bob, or Juan in South America, no? Is that the Pablo, Steve, any more names? Go for it. It's always this Steve, like he'll take the nonsense thing, he'll like go off on one. Like, you know the two Mexican firemen, Jose and Joseby? So you've heard that before. I can say that because it's very, you can say that now, you can say it. The two Mexican firemen, Jose and Joseby. Let's say it's like I've got to get to Brian. I've got to get back to him. He's like, I've got to email this one. Oh my gosh, like what am I doing? What am I wearing for Saturday night to the big party, the big dinner? Oh my gosh, I've got to get back there. So you saw the fleeting thoughts that are coming through. That's in your nefesh, guys. Your nefesh is the fleeting thoughts. Oh my gosh, got to get that one. Got to go here. That's constantly going. Constant. Next one, physical sensations. Taste, smell, hot, cold, itchy, annoying, sweaty, hot, whatever, all your physical sensations, you're feeling it here. Okay, you're feeling it in here. And last but not least, all the emotions and feelings, they're in your nefesh as well. Your emotions, you're happy, you're sad, you're elated, you're feeling incredible, you're feeling really nervous, feeling anxious. Anxiety is a huge thing nowadays. A lot of people I speak to more and more find, it's something a lot of us have, and it's something which is understandable. We live in anxious times. You know, most conversations I have with people are anxious, right? The anxiety, the emotions and the feelings, okay, is what we have, okay? The emotions and feelings. Now, here's what's interesting. This gets us really stuck because you wake up in the morning, and the minute you wake up in the morning, okay, almost the floodgates open. You know, you'll feel something, like you'll feel like a little bit drudgy. So that feeling of drudginess will lead to the feeling of like, I've got to go to work. That leads to I hate work, which leads to the emotions and feelings like, I'm never going to leave my work, I'm a loser, I'm this age, and that means that I'm never going to break out there, which comes back to like a visualization because, you know, your leg hurts you, and I remember that my leg hurts me, I've got to see the doctor, but I don't ever see the doctor. That means back to emotions and feelings of like, I'm a real loser because I never actually do things I'm meant to be doing, which leads back to fleeting thoughts. And then the fleeting thoughts go, I'm really excited because I'm going to see Barbara later on, and it's not Bob and not Brian either, but I'm going to see Barbara later on, that's really exciting. Then what we do is you check your phone and you check your Facebook, you check your WhatsApp, you check your email, then you go back again, check one more time, just check, and now you start your day. Okay? Now what's happening is, that means that the awareness, our awareness, this is the I, okay? I is awareness. Our I awareness is basically spending all its time here. Okay? It spends its time here. Okay? Your I awareness spends its time in nefesh. And it's planted in nefesh. And it stays in nefesh. Okay? Now, yes, granted, that means we can have good times. It's not all bad. Okay, you can have good fleeting thoughts, you can have good emotions, you can have good physical sensations. This isn't necessarily a judgment, but our I spends its time here, it lives here in this place. And what happens is, over time, we just get caught in habits. Okay, so if the habits would be the following, where did I just put it just now? Just 1 second. I just put it here. Yeah, here we go. So habits would be like the following. Every time we do something again and again, it's basically the sensation of just planting that I constantly in nefesh. It stays here. You know, you get up in the morning, you check your phone. You get up in the morning, you phone, you know, your friends. You at work, you go to this part of, this coffee nook, whatever it's called, and you kind of moan about your boss every day, or whatever it is. You have all the habits that get formed. Basically, plant the I constantly in nefesh, and it stays there. Okay, and that means that we never have a feeling of, if you looked at here, the soul, eternal, divine, pure aspect, battery pack, the godly part of ourselves. It's really hard for us to go there because we're just planting ourselves constantly in the I. If I would write on it, I would just, where's the little red thing here? There's a red here. I would write on it here, habit. It's all just habits. Does everyone here understand what I'm saying? You get this? You understand, right? It's just habits and habits and habits mean that the I is glued in. It's glued into physical feelings. It's glued into emotions. It's glued into feelings, and that's how you go through your day. And what you do is you go to bed at night with your phone, okay? And then you get up in the morning, it just starts again. And how do I get out of this? You start feeling like I'm stuck forever. I can't get out of it. You're locked in. I mean, I read a scientific from a doctor that's saying by the age of 35, 95% of like what you do and who you are is basically sold into who you are, because you just then all the habits you've done for your life. But this is if you don't go to Soul Fitness classes, but we can get you out of it. Don't worry. Okay, so the idea is that you're soldered in here. You can't. You want to leave, you can't, because the habits have locked you in completely into who you are. Anyone here does anyone here want to share something maybe about that, or what they can?
I don't think that's true. I think after 35, people can have a vast change.
Of course.
I don't believe him.
All right, good. I get you definitely. No. I get that. I mean, this is his opinion. This doctor is saying that, like, I guess they've done research on these things. They said a lot of people, they just said, like, because what happens is it gets calcifies. Because you've had, like, say, an emotional feeling. Someone was mean to you. Let's say someone had a really bad thing in their life happen to them. Okay, someone had a relationship and it turned out to be terrible in the end, and that person did it. So what happens is that the emotional and the feelings are there. Okay, and then the person gets up in the morning and he thinks about it. And now it just calcifies. It just becomes so that every morning, one of the things you do is every time you look at a certain place or you go to a certain thing, it reminds you of that relationship and it reminds you how sad and bitter you are about it, and it just calcifies and you just carry it around with you your whole life. And so for the next, let's say there was a song that it was your song with your ex, right? So I don't know what song that would be. Let's just say, I don't know, Your Song by Elton John. Okay? Can we go with that? Steve? No, yes? Steve was thinking more Live and Let Die by Wings, but okay, fine. But let's just say there's a song. Everyone, I've noticed this now because there's the new shtick they do in weddings where you have the first dance. Didn't happen in my day. And you choose your song for your first dance. What's the first song for the first dance? Anyone? Give me an example. Hello, what was your first dance song? I only got married a couple of weeks. Okay, sixpence on the richer.
Put me on the spot there.
Sorry, Steve. Okay, fine. So let's just say someone has their song, right? It's the song that they played that moment when they were in Paris, right? And now, like, the whole relationship's gone sour. So every time you hear that song on the radio, it just straight away, it's like the emotions and feelings kick in, and you're thinking about that song and thinking about, oh, like that reminds me of that person. And now I don't want everyone to hear that song, so you spend your whole life trying to avoid that song. And the voice song comes on the radio, you just switch it off. Like, don't, because it's just, it's reminding you of a certain thing, or a certain place is reminding you of something. And therefore, we kind of chart our lives in a way that will avoid the emotions and things that hurt us, or the physical sensations that hurt us, or the fleeting thoughts that hurt us. Okay, so we're just locking ourselves, we're locking our feet, right? We have routines that we do every day that essentially are there to protect us. It's not a bad thing, but they're there to protect us. But it just means that our sense of who we are, awareness, is locked in through habit into nefesh and can't go anywhere else. It can't get you out of there. So my question is to you guys, how? How do we lift ourselves? How do we take the I and not be like that doctor? And we show that doctor what happens, because it's not true. And obviously I put it as a straw man, because it's not true. You know, you're not defined at a certain age you're locked in, because you can always come out of it. But how? How do we take this off? How do we take these layers off? How do we pull it off from here? Deborah.
I wasn't going to answer that.
You had a question?
I was going to say, actually, I think there was science that said that the negative is more compelling and easier, and that's why we get locked into negative narratives more, because they're actually familiar.
Right.
They're easier route.
Definitely, and we also get addicted. We get addicted to that negative thinking, because it gives that kind of rush and feeling of like almost sometimes validation, but like it's who we are, so we kind of feel comfortable, kind of feel familiar with that negative sensation. It's easier. That's why they say, by the way, that Adam, they say that the afar, we're made from afar. Afar is earth. We're pulled down by the afar. The force of gravity is much stronger to get pulled down. And therefore, you know, when people give up, you feel like really low energy, because the force of the earthiness inside you is pulling you down. It's much easier to give up. It's much easier to say no. Yeah, so someone over here had a question or a comment. Emily, yeah.
I was going to try and attempt it.
Oh, okay, go on.
So you're saying, like, how do we get out of that kind of routine?
What's a way for us to do this? Because for someone, we've got our sense of awareness is locked here. You know, it's locked here. So what's one of the ways we can take it out of here?
So like one layer at a time is by taking it one step at a time and doing the thing you're avoiding. Because you know the saying, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's like the way you discover yourself is by trying new things to find out if you can do it. It's almost like you're discovering yourself again, if that makes sense. You're kind of putting yourself through something to see how your body reacts and to create like a new routine, a new reaction.
I think that's very true, but I think that's already like a few steps along the way, because, you know, let's say we've all been there before. We've all had the feeling we want to change. Okay, I hope I'm not speaking for myself now, so I'll put my hand up first. Okay, I'm going to be the first one here to plead the Fifth Amendment. Okay, I want to tell you all, I try and change a lot of things in my life. Okay, try to change a lot of things. I try and change, and some things, Baruch Hashem, I have changed. You know, I really have. I've really worked on certain things. But other things that I haven't changed, they've been really hard for me. Like, I can't change. I can. I mean, but when I say I can't change, I can change. But I haven't been able to change right now. Why haven't I been able to change them? Because I'm still locked into this kind of feeling of like, you know, I'm locked into the habits. I'm locked into the habits. So how do I lift myself out of that? Vivian?
I think it's doing precisely what we were doing in meditation, which is becoming more aware. I think like when you asked us to think about our thoughts, it's almost like we created a new level of awareness. There was the level at which we were having the thoughts, and then there was the level at which we were noticing the thoughts. And then when we get there, we can change things.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. I could not have said it better. It's exactly what we're talking about here. What we're doing is like this. When we do these exercises, when we do the meditation, now, you know, the way it's presented, meditation, it's like kind of, that's the kind of hippie kind of thing to do, you know? You go and meditate, we'll do a bit of headspace and just sit in a room, which is good, you should, and it's important to do it. But meditation's so much more powerful than that. Why? Because what do we really do when meditating? Right, when meditating like this, is that right now our eye is here. It's stuck in emotions, feelings, fleeting thoughts, sensations. Now, what happens when I ask you to breathe, to calm down, to be present, and I start to ask you to notice? You know, what am I asking you to notice each time? Notice your physical sensations. Notice what you're feeling. Notice your emotions. Notice your thoughts. You know what happens when you do that? Watch, I'll show you what happens. The eye just gets lifted. It's no longer stuck in here, but rather it's coming and looking down on these. Okay? So it's just an experience of actually lifting yourself out and noticing. Now, you do it once, do it twice, fine. If you do that often, if we do that often, if we can do that often, if we can put ourselves in a situation where we can notice and lift ourselves, we can put our eye wherever we want, we can choose. Now, we're going to start talking next week about what the eye is. The eye is called das. We're going to talk about that, the awareness. We're going to talk about that next week, what awareness means. Okay, but we can choose where we want our eye to be. We can choose, do we want our eye to be up here in the shama? Okay, if it's in the shama, what is in the shama? The shama is that, what I mentioned before, that feeling of intense spirituality, intense connection, intense, you know, if anyone's ever had it before, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those moments in life where you just feel completely aligned and completely powered and completely, you know, and things can be happening. You could be having, like, seeing a person you hate and it doesn't bother you whatsoever in the slightest. You hear that song when you broke up, it doesn't bother you in the slightest. You have that thought of, like, you know, things that you should be done. It doesn't bother you in the slightest because you're way up here. Anyone had that before? Anyone know what I'm talking about? You get to a place where nothing really bothers you. You see that person, it doesn't make a difference because you're up here, you're in a higher place. You're not pulled down by the thoughts and emotions. Or you can choose if you want to be down here as well. You can choose where you want to go to. And what's the way that we can unlock ourselves? What's the way we can take ourselves out? It's through this idea of hashgata, of getting quiet, and noticing that we have a choice. That we have a choice. Because, my friends, The world will tell you that we don't have a choice. The world will tell you that there is no choice. You know, you're here, this is what it is, there isn't any more than this, this is life experience, we're stuck here, and there is no more choice. We as Jews believe in something called Bechira. Bechira, anyone? It means free will. It means you have a choice. You can choose where you want to get to. You can take your eye out here and you can put it to wherever you want, wherever you choose to put it. So basically, this was the central part of today's class. Okay, I hope this is, we're building together. We're building this together because next week we're going to talk about Das. Start kind of developing a bit more about Das. And then we're going to start, as we do the meditations, we're going to go a bit deeper through this. We're going to start even noticing more and bring ourselves up to a high level. But even if in the next week, my homework for you is, in the next week, try your hardest if you can. I mean, obviously you're welcome back, whatever happens. But in the next week, try and catch yourself. If you do wake up in the morning, okay, and you start getting it hits you, you know, like some sort of feeling of a memory, and the memory starts taking you into a whole journey and a whole, what I call thought typhoon, taking you down to a certain place. I want you to just be aware, and just, if you can, just try and be aware of what's going on. Try and be aware that this is something which you can control. Now, even if you can't control it, because it's hard, just be aware that if you want to, you can engage in that thought, and if you don't want to, you don't have to engage in that thought. Because we've just told you right now that if you want to, we can take your eye out. It's going to take practice, it's going to take time, lots of this kind of experience of doing the thinking, what am I thinking, what am I feeling, and the awareness gets lifted, and you can live a life where you can choose where you want to be. So I hope, again, this is an exciting journey for all of us, and next week we'll talk a bit more about Das, we'll talk about the Neshama, about Ruach as well, and thank you very much, every single one of you being part of it tonight. Thank you. And that, with News and Sport at 10:27, brings it to an end. Thank you very much, gentlemen. If you want to keep hold of the source sheets, you can. If not, don't worry about it. What, downstairs? Where?
No, just for the catch, I've got an idea.
Oh, okay. I thought you told me some bad news or something. Like, that was not nice. I think that they're about to tell me something. Okay.
I need to give you this thing.
Two things. Number one, when you were davening,
Yeah.
where are you meant to be?
If you can, here. Sure.
Really? Because it's tough when you're davening even to stay focused.
I've just got to...